welcome to my kitchen. My name is Barbara, and in this episode of Cooking with Love, I'm going to be making my version of a biscotti recipe, a very old recipe from Tuscany that's handed down many years. And I've made it very simple, and we'll see how it comes out. Biscotti is a hard cookie. It means in Italian twice cooked, so it's twice baked. It would, in the old days, help it preserve a little longer. People would dunk it in wine. People like to dunk it in coffee. There's so many different versions that you can do and invent your own things to put in the recipe, but I'm going to show you how I make it today. The original biscotti recipe called for almonds and pinoli nuts from years ago, but as the years have gone by, people make their own variations. Today we're going to be using raisins and nuts. You can change it any way you like, any extract you like. I'm using vanilla extract today and a little nutmeg, but you can add cinnamon, you can add almond extract, orange extract, lemon extract, coconut extract. You can add craisins, you can add chocolate chips, you can add any kind of nuts you would like. You can just use your imagination. Change it any way you like it. I also, the way I make my biscotti, I don't like to make them too hard. My family likes them a little bit on the soft side, so I don't bake them as long when we re-toast them on each side. But again, your own taste and preferences as you try the recipe. These are the ingredients to make the biscotti. It's a very simple recipe. We need 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. There's a tablespoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon nutmeg, half a teaspoon of salt, a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of vanilla, half a cup of oil, and 3 eggs. We're also going to add today raisins and nuts to the recipe. All right, we're going to start. We're going to add our eggs, sugar, 1 tablespoon of the vanilla, and our half a cup of oil. All right, we're going to whisk this together. All right, that looks good. We're going to add the nutmeg next. Now, if you don't like nutmeg, you can always add a little cinnamon. You don't have to add anything at all. It just gives it a little extra flavor. Now, before I sift the ingredients to the dry ingredients, I like to add the fruit or nuts or whatever, and it will mix better that way, and it will incorporate into the cookie better. So I'm going to add our raisins and our nuts, and just mix that together. Now we're going to mix the dry ingredients into the wet ones. I like to put the sifter over the bowl and put everything in there and just shake it in. It's much easier that way. So we're going to put the flour, which is 3 1/4 cups here. Make it a little faster. Okay, and we're going to add our salt and our baking powder. Then you just start sifting it over the bowl. It's less mess this way, much easier. And just mix this all together. The dough will be thick when we are done, so it's a thick dough. Okay, the dough is just about formed now. It's mixed together. Now we're ready to shape it into 2 loaves and then get it into the oven. Now I have put a piece of parchment paper on a cookie sheet, and I usually try in the bowl. It's much easier this way for me. If you'd like, you could put the dough on the counter and separate it in half. Is just to make the dough into 2 pieces. I'm going to flour my hands a little. The dough will be a little sticky. If it's still a little too sticky, you can add a little more flour, but I just flour my hands. And I do everything on the cookie sheet. You can roll it out on your counter if that's easier for you, but I start pressing down. And about a 1/2 inch thick, I start slowly stretching it out. And the dough is very pliable. And I just try and make a loaf. All right, that looks pretty good. And I will do the other one. It's a very simple, forgiving recipe that we like to make near the holidays. Okay, that looks good. And now we're ready to put them in the oven. All right, we're going to put them at a 325-degree oven, 20 to 25 minutes or so until they're browned. It depends on your oven, give or take a couple of minutes. All right, the biscotti's been in about 25 minutes. Okay, I'm going to check it, and it's nicely browned, and you can tap it and hear a hollow sound. I know it's done. We're going to let it cool a few minutes now, 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to cut it and rebake it. Okay, our biscotti have cooled about 10 minutes or so. I can pretty much touch them. They're not hot anymore. So we're going to rebake them. People bake them again. We rebake them twice, between 5 and 10 minutes on each side. I like to cook them only about 5 minutes or so. We don't like a real crisp cookie in our family, but again, it's according to taste. So I'm going to try and cut them on an angle for you. Again, you don't always have to. I just sometimes cut them straight. The traditional way is to try and get them on an angle.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to put them on the cookie sheet on their side. We will start layering them. And they're going back in the oven, again, your choice, between 5 and 10 minutes. All right, the biscotti are all cut and they're ready to go in the oven for their first toasting, about 5 minutes for me. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to take them out. And now we were going to flip them to the other side so that we can toast the other side for about 5 minutes also. Here are our finished biscotti. I'm letting them cool a little more. We're going to plate them, and then I always like to add a little powdered sugar over the top, and they're ready to serve. And here it is, our finished product, our biscotti cooked with love product. I'm just going to give a little taste and see how they came out today. I'm just going to dunk it in coffee. You don't have to, I don't always. You can see how they're evenly distributed by mixing them in with the egg and vanilla and sugar instead of adding them at the end after the flour. Very good. Nice and crispy. My grandkids love them like this. They like to dip them in milk or have them plain. I like to make them with other cookies at Christmas time. You can make a couple batches in no time. I put a batch in the oven and we'll start another batch, and by the time they're done, it's ready to start crisping them so I can keep it going, and it goes very quickly. Again, I hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you soon. Hi, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Barbara, and welcome to this I'll start all over again episode.
Okay.
Wait a minute. What did you say?